Evening all. So today we're going to look at the Gorgon. Now this kind of follows on, I guess, from the Viper that we just took a look at. Now, again, these are all spotlights on militia gear. I think you don't be afraid to use them. Yeah, they're not as good as their kind of level 1 skilled equivalents, but they're still pretty good. And I think you shouldn't let that detract from having a go in them. So this is the Gorgon, as you can see. Now this is the Galante equivalent of the Viper. So naturally this has then the Galante focused particulars such as armor tanking. So let's have a look at this beast. Now the Gorgon is pretty cheap as the Viper, about 150k ISK, and it comes with, again in this case, railguns rather, and it comes with a militia armor repper, which again is pretty useless. So let's look at what we can do with this. Now, I think out of the two, the Viper and this, I would almost say this is maybe a bit more flexible. And you'll certainly see that as we start to go through. So, first off, railguns are useless, particularly the 20 gigajoule railguns, they are useless. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. And, no, I'm kidding. If you disagree with me, tell me why. Personally, whenever I've used them, I just don't find them very good. Maybe it's because I'm not a particularly good shot with them. Maybe it's that, but I think certainly blasters seem to be a bit more kind of useful against anti-infantry. And also just swapping out that repper for a named repper. In this case we've used the polarized armor regenerator, which is the light version. So therefore we got a much better use of CPU and power grid. So what we've also done here is we're looking to basically do exactly as we did with the shield tank. We're looking to build a hit point buffer through using plates, and then we're looking to use hardeners to effectively, harden that hit point. And by doing so, your effective hit points, or your EHP, goes up. So always try and remember that really, this is what we're trying to do. Now, again, I noticed I didn't have any 60mm plates. Now, again, I have access to 2, but I'm going to buy 1 of each. And I know I'm a broken record and I'm saying the same stuff over and over, but by having both, I can then really theory craft with the fits I can do. And I've just realised I've probably done the same again for the 1800s, but the 180. But again, we'll come back to that. I think really what I'm trying to do with this dropship in the first instance is to make it a bit of an armor tanker, so it has survivability on the field. So fitting the 60mm plate gives me, 2,183 armor with, I think, a 25% hardener associated with it. So that's not bad, that's pretty good. Always, generally, I will fit an afterburner if I can. Even if it's a combat one, I will always try and do that. And you could fit something like a damage control. Let's see what else we have. Probably not a great selection. We'll come back to the mobile CIU because I think that's going to be what we look at just after this fit. But yeah, pretty limited actually in terms of what we can fit. So maybe a damage control. It gives you a 6% increase to a number of things. So it's not a terribly good choice, but that's probably the wild card module. So as a fit, that's a pretty decent combat fit right there. It's got blasters, it's got a good hardened armor capability, and it's also got the afterburner as well. But a lot of modules to maybe manage, so just be aware of that. Now, let's have a look at what else maybe we can do with this, because I think really the Gorgon and the Viper and all dropships in general, they're going to become phenomenally powerful if you fit mobile CIUs on them. And I think this is something really to consider, because eventually when the maps become bigger, the ability to respawn back into the fight on the dropship, which could be hovering above the battle, and then jump out of said dropship and basically do a Neo from the Matrix move and crash land and then own and kill, is a pretty decent thing to do. So have a consideration about that, because you may find that that's not a bad thing to do. So there we go. As a fit, we've got the CIU on there. We've lost our afterburner, which can be a bit of a bad thing. So let's just see if we can shoehorn the afterburner on as well. Now, probably means we have to lose maybe either the plates or the hardener. Personally, I'd probably lose the plate, because I think it's better just to have hardened armor instead. It's up to you what you're comfortable with that. But there we go. So we've just been able to fit a PEU, a power grid extension unit or expansion unit, and now this fits viable. So this is now a CIU with an afterburner, with an okay tank and blasters. And I'd say that fits pretty good, good to go, let's say. Now, in terms of this then being a fit that we then use, and you can see that's my other fit that I have, which is, I guess, roughly the same, but with no tank. That's just for me for arsing around. I would go with my previous tank probably there, or fit rather. But let's just see this one. So there we go. So got a bit more of a tank, a bit more of a fit. but probably the key thing to bear in mind is how much will this cost. So if we go to restock, this tells me, well, it's 435k, so it's quite expensive, but again, you're not going to use this every round, so I always just try and put the cost of each fit onto the ship. So there we go, this one's good to go. So we had in the first instance our armor tanking kind of front line fit, and in this case this is maybe a kind of back of the line CIU spawning point. Okay, so let's have a look at these dropship, well, this dropship in action. Now, this is actually a court battle, so it's literally 5 of us versus 3 other dudes, and as you can see we were winning, so I kind of thought, well, let's just do some arsing around, and I call in my Gorgon here. So again, no gunners, no real purpose to this, but I just wanted to basically just get an overview of the map to see where they were. Then I kind of realised, oh, okay, they've got they've got turrets, so I need to be a bit careful. But to be honest, I always kind of like court battles for like looking around the map. If you find that you're, you can do agreed court battles where you just kind of, both sides can just have a bit of a laugh. In this example, we didn't know we were going to fight these guys, but they came, and there's only 3 of them, so we gave them a fight, and then I basically decided to fly around. Anyway, I digress. What I was trying to do here was really just see what capability a dropship has to maybe identify the enemy as well, because you have modules and you have capability to do scanning and things like that, and we'll look at that once I've got the skills for it. But I quite like the idea of maybe just hovering over the battlefield and really just seeing what was going on. Now, again, what I would say is most of the time dropships are pretty paper thin, weak things, but I would say there's nothing wrong with doing this kind of tactic with them, which is very low level flying, so they're very difficult to shoot down with swarms. You do have to watch out for forge guns because they'll still really hurt you, but the reality of what you can maybe do here is it's kind of like a flying gun platform, where you can just if this this actually has a CIU on it as well, I believe. So all I was doing here was just basically, if our guys died, they could spawn back into the dropship and get ready. But I don't think anybody was really dying, only because there's 5v3, so it's a very quiet map. Very different dynamic, I must admit, and it was quite interesting. It was fun actually. But yeah, after a while I realised that I can't kill this dude, so basically park the dropship, get out with my trusty laser, and then I try and look for the dude that I've just been hunting, and I see him, aha, zap. Dead. Down you go. And that was it. So there we go. That was the Gorgon. I know that bit at the end was a bit weird, but that's the Gorgon dropship. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll certainly do some more of these as we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.